Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. My name is Emma.
And I'm Max. Today, we are going to talk about how to master English conversations. This is for anyone who wants to feel more confident when speaking English, whether you're a beginner or at an intermediate level.
That's right, conversations are such an important part of learning any language. They help you connect with people, understand cultures, and improve your speaking skills. So, Max, where do you think is a good place to start?
I think a good place to start is with greetings. Saying hello is the first step in almost every conversation, right?
Yes, greetings are so important. For example, you can say, "Hi, how are you?" or "Hello, nice to meet you." These are simple phrases, but they help start a friendly conversation.
Exactly, and the way you say it matters too. Try to sound warm and happy. If you say, "Hi," with a smile, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely, practice saying these greetings out loud. Maybe stand in front of a mirror and pretend you're meeting someone for the first time.
That's a great idea, and after saying hello, you can ask a question to keep the conversation going. A simple question like, "How's your day?" or "What do you do?" can open the door to a longer chat.
Yes, asking questions is so helpful. And don't forget to listen carefully to the answer. When someone replies, show you are interested by saying things like, "Oh, really?" or "That's great."
Good point. Emma, listening is just as important as speaking in a conversation. Sometimes people are so nervous about what they will say next that they forget to really listen.
That's true. So, to our listeners, try practicing this. When you're talking to someone, focus on what they are saying. Don't worry about being perfect. The more you listen, the better you'll understand the flow of a conversation.
And speaking of flow, one way to make your conversation smoother is to learn common phrases or expressions. For example, if someone says, "I'm tired today," you can reply with, "Oh no, did you have a busy day?"
Yes, phrases like that make the conversation feel natural. You can also use expressions like, "That's interesting," or "I know what you mean." These little sentences show the other person that you're engaged.
And don't be afraid to repeat what the other person said. For example, if they say, "I went to the park yesterday," you can reply, "Oh, you went to the park? That sounds nice."
That's a great tip, Max. Repeating keywords helps in two ways. It shows you're listening, and it gives you time to think of your next sentence.
Exactly, and remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Conversations are not about being perfect, they're about connecting with people.
Right, so if you don't know a word, don't panic. You can say, "Sorry, I don't understand," or "Can you explain that?" Most people are happy to help.
That's a really good point. It's better to ask than to stay quiet. And here's another tip. When you're practicing conversations, don't just practice words, practice your tone and body language too.
Yes, smile, use hand gestures, and make eye contact. These things make you look more confident, even if you're feeling a little shy.
And confidence is key. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll feel. You can even practice with a friend or join an English conversation group.
That's a great idea, Max. And if you don't have a group, you can practice with yourself. Talk about your day in English, or describe what you see around you.
Or record yourself speaking and listen to it. It might feel strange at first, but it's a good way to hear how you sound and improve.
Yes, and as you practice, don't forget to have fun. Conversations are about sharing and learning. When you enjoy the process, you learn faster.
Absolutely, Emma, and that's why mastering conversations is such a great goal. It helps you grow your English skills and makes learning more exciting.
All right, let's dive deeper into mastering English conversations. We talked about greetings and keeping the flow going, but now let's explore how to make your conversations even better.
Great idea, Emma. I think we should talk about how to express your thoughts clearly. Sometimes learners struggle to explain what they're thinking.
Yes, that's common. A good way to start is by using simple sentences. For example, instead of saying, "I find it quite fascinating to observe animals in their natural habitat," you can say, "I like watching animals."
That's a great example. Keeping it simple makes it easier for the other person to understand. And if you don't know a word, you can use different ways to explain it.
Exactly. Let's say you don't know the word restaurant. You can say, "a place where people go to eat," and most people will understand what you mean.
That's a very useful trick. It's called paraphrasing. It's like finding another way to say the same thing. And don't worry if it takes a moment to think about it. The person you're talking to will usually wait and help you.
Yes, they will. Another way to make conversations easier is to learn how to agree and disagree politely. For example, if someone says, "I like soccer," you can agree by saying, "Me too," or "I like soccer as well."
And if you don't agree, you can say something like, "Oh, I prefer basketball," or "Soccer is fun, but I like other sports more."
That's a good point, Max. Being polite makes the conversation more enjoyable. You don't have to agree with everything, but how you say things matters.
Right, and speaking of being polite, let's talk about phrases that show good manners. For example, saying please and thank you is always appreciated.
Yes, manners are very important. If someone helps you, even in a small way, you can say, "Thank you so much." Or if you need something, like directions, you can say, "Can you help me, please?"
And don't forget, "excuse me" is very useful too. If you need to interrupt someone or get their attention, you can start with, "Excuse me, can I ask a question?"
That's a great tip, Max. Little phrases like these make your English sound more natural and polite.
Another thing to remember is to use the right tone of voice. For example, if you're asking a question, try to sound curious and friendly.
Yes, and if you're saying something exciting, let your voice show it. Instead of saying, "I'm very happy" in a flat tone, say it with energy. "I'm so happy."
That's a great example. The way you say something can completely change how it feels. It's not just about the words, it's about how you use them.
And Max, what about when someone says something you don't understand? What's the best way to handle that?
Good question, Emma. If you don't understand, you can say, "I'm sorry, can you repeat that?" Or "What does that mean?" Asking for clarification shows you're interested and trying your best.
That's true. And it's okay to say, "I don't know." For example, if someone asks you a difficult question, you can reply, "I'm not sure, but I'll find out."
Yes, people don't expect you to know everything. They appreciate honesty and effort.
Another helpful tip is to practice common conversation topics. For example, talking about the weather is always a safe choice. You can say, "It's so sunny today," or "Do you like rainy days?"
That's a good one, Emma. Other topics include hobbies, food, or travel. For example, you can ask, "What's your favorite food?" Or "Have you ever been to another country?"
Yes, simple questions like these keep the conversation going. And if someone asks you the same question, you can practice giving a short answer and a longer answer.
For example, if someone asks, "What's your favorite food?" you can say pizza as a short answer. For a longer answer, you can say, "I love pizza because it has so many toppings and it's fun to eat with friends."
That's a great tip. Adding a reason or extra detail makes your answer more interesting. It gives the other person more to talk about too.
And don't forget to ask follow-up questions. If someone says, "I like pizza," you can ask, "What's your favorite topping?" or "Where do you go for the best pizza?"
Yes, asking follow-up questions shows you're curious and keeps the conversation alive.
One more thing. Emma, let's talk about how to end a conversation politely. It's just as important as starting one.
Definitely. If you need to leave, you can say something like, "It was nice talking to you," or "I enjoyed our chat. Let's talk again soon."
And you can add, "Take care" or "Have a great day." These small phrases leave a good impression.
That's such a good point, Max. Conversations are like a dance. The more you practice, the better you get at starting. continuing, and ending them.
Exactly, and remember, mistakes are part of the learning process. Every time you practice, you get closer to mastering English conversations.
Let's continue and take our English conversations to the next level. So far, we've talked about greetings, keeping the flow, and being polite, but there's still so much more we can do to become great conversationalists.
Absolutely, Emma. One thing we haven't focused on yet is how to show emotions in conversations. This makes what you say feel more natural and real.
That's a great topic, Max. For example, if you're happy, you can say something like, "That's amazing," or "I'm so excited." Use words that match how you feel.
And if you're surprised, you can say, "Wow," or "Really." These short expressions are very common in English, and they make your conversation sound lively.
That's right. It's also helpful to use your face and body to show emotions. If you're excited, smile or nod. If you're confused, you can raise your eyebrows and say, "I don't understand."
Good point, Emma. Combining words with expressions makes your message stronger. And it's not just about big emotions, small ones matter too. For example, if something is funny, you can laugh a little and say, "That's so funny."
Yes, speaking naturally isn't just about using the right words. It's about sounding like you're really enjoying the conversation.
Another thing that helps is storytelling. People love to hear short, interesting stories. For example, if someone asks, "How was your weekend?" you can tell a little story about something fun or interesting that happened.
That's such a good idea. And remember, your story doesn't have to be long or complicated. It could be something like, "I went to the park and I saw a cute dog. It came up to me and I got to pet it. It made my day."
That's perfect, Emma. Stories like that are simple, but they make people want to listen and reply. And when they reply, it keeps the conversation alive.
Exactly, and storytelling also helps with practicing past tense. When you talk about things that already happened, like "I went" or "I saw," it helps improve your grammar without even thinking about it.
That's so true, and don't worry about making mistakes in your story. People are usually more interested in what you're saying than in how perfect your grammar is.
Definitely, and here's another tip. When you're listening to someone's story, show them you're interested. You can say things like, "That's so cool," or "Really, what happened next?"
That's a great way to keep the conversation going, Emma. Showing interest makes the other person feel good and helps build a connection.
Speaking of connection, let's talk about how to handle awkward moments in conversations. Sometimes there's a pause, and you don't know what to say next. What should you do, Max?
Good question, Emma. Pauses are normal, so don't feel nervous about them. If there's a silence, you can ask a new question or make a comment about the situation.
That's right. For example, if you're at a coffee shop and there's a pause, you can say, "This coffee smells so good." "Do you like coffee?" Or "This place is really nice." "Have you been here before?"
Another way to avoid awkward pauses is to prepare a few topics in advance. Think about what you like to talk about, like your hobbies, favorite food, or a recent movie you watched.
That's such a good idea. If you have a few topics ready, it makes you feel more confident. And you can ask the other person about their hobbies or interests too.
Exactly. People love talking about what they enjoy. For example, if someone says they like music, you can ask, "What kind of music do you like?" or "Do you play any instruments?"
That's such a good way to connect with someone. And here's another tip. If you're talking to someone from a different country or culture, you can ask them about it. For example, "What's it like in your country?" or "What's your favorite tradition?"
That's a fantastic idea, Emma. People enjoy sharing their culture, and it helps you learn more about the world.
Yes, and learning about new cultures also helps you improve your English because you'll hear new words and ideas.
Another tip is to use your phone or a notebook to write down interesting words or phrases you hear during a conversation. Later, you can look them up and practice using them.
That's a great habit, Max. And when you learn a new phrase, try to use it in your next conversation. For example, if you learn, "That sounds amazing," practice saying it when someone talks about something exciting.
Yes, the more you use a word or phrase, the easier it becomes to remember it.
And remember, practice doesn't just mean talking with others. You can practice by yourself too. Pretend you're having a conversation and answer your own questions. It might feel funny, but it works.
That's so true, Emma. Talking to yourself is great for practicing fluency and confidence.
And finally, don't forget to enjoy the process. Learning English conversations is a journey, and every step you take brings you closer to your goal.
Absolutely. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems. Every conversation you have is a success.
And with that, we want to thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you feel more confident and excited to practice your English conversations.
Yes, and if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends and family.
We'd love to hear your thoughts too, so leave us a comment and tell us what you're practicing.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye for now, keep practicing, and remember you're doing great!